After all, why should you go to jail for a crime someone else noticed? Ciao friends and welcome to 2 Secs Ted. Thank you first of all so much for the response to last video. The likes, the comments, the subscriptions, all of that. It was fantastic. It got 100 views in the first day. I couldn't have expected anything more. Don't worry, there's plenty more where that comes from. Someone came into the F1 Discord earlier this morning. There's a link to that in the description. It's not like a Discord for this channel, it's just an F1 Discord. Someone posted a story that was originally from, seemingly, the Turkish edition of Motorsport. Is it a magazine? Motorsport.com? Whatever that is. About Haas deciding that they didn't need to update the 2021 car once they'd launched it for the remainder of the season. This is a surprise, first off, because they haven't even launched it yet. We don't technically know what it's going to be called, as far as I know. I mean, there's some pretty obvious safe bets. It's probably just going to be the VF21, right? Haas's point, supposedly, in this article being they have 2 new rookies, the regulations aren't changing that much for this year, bit less downforce, but otherwise it's basically last year's car. But again, just invest all of that development resource on the 2022 car and make sure your drivers are embedded in the team for then. Now, I don't think this will be that big of a deal, because it's Haas. Even if they were planning on updating the 2021 car, there is no guarantee it would get any faster. For years they've been saying that they were keeping on the same driver lineup because those 2 drivers were very good at developing the car. Romain Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, experienced drivers, good at developing the car. But yet, the only year where any of them were any use was 2019, when Romain Grosjean kept saying, take us back to the Australia spec, it was better. Take us back to the Australia spec, it was better. And he kept saying it, and they kept not doing it until they eventually did put the Australia spec floor back on his car, and he crashed it and broke it, and... So if you're going to have drivers supposedly in your lineup for development, why wouldn't you just listen to them? In Romain Grosjean related news, incidentally, it's been confirmed he'll race in IndyCar this year, just not on the high-speed ovals. He was planning on doing the high-speed ovals, but after his big crash in Sakir, he decided that that wasn't for him. I wish him all the best of luck. I'm sure he will be a brilliant driver to watch. Haas have only really had 2 strong cars in their F1 history. The 2016 car and the 2018 car. The 2016 car is an interesting story because Ferrari effectively just co-opted Haas's development because it was uncapped, because they were a new team. They effectively disguised their Ferrari development as Haas development, but that also did help the Haas car be quite good. But of course Haas didn't therefore have the experience to actually keep developing that car, so they didn't. Once again in 2018 they get off to this fantastic start, apart from round 1. Round 1 is not their strong suit. But they get off to this good start in 2018, and then development stalls, and just nothing happens to that car. 2020, they were let down by the Ferrari power unit, of course, but it's not like that car was a barnstormer anyway. I mean, it was clearly defeated by the Alfa Romeo, especially by the end of the season, because that Alfa Romeo kept developing. The Haas really didn't. And they, as a team, need to shift some resources around and make sure that development is something that they can do moving forward. There have been some rumblings about this because of this new budget cap. Ferrari have been looking into, supposedly, moving some of their resources around and maybe lending some of those out to their customer teams, especially Haas, because as customer teams, them doing well helps Ferrari, and I'm pretty sure Ferrari don't see Haas as a competitor anyway, especially while Haas have Mick Schumacher in their lineup, an important member of the FDA, Ferrari's young driver program, and F2 champion. Now, am I surprised to see Ferrari trying to immediately, if not evade the budget cap restrictions, at least avoid some of them? No, I am absolutely not. As discussed earlier, they did exactly this in 2016. We know from the engine debacle of 2019-2020, they're not against exploiting any grey area they can find, but that is after all, the spirit of motorsport, the spirit of Formula One, and well, you can't really blame them. Is there really any difference between finding a grey area in your development process instead of finding one in, say, the steering, like Mercedes did with DAS? No. Exploiting grey areas is part of the sport. Ferrari just exploit the grey areas that no one else is willing to do. After all, why should you go to jail for a crime someone else noticed? So to conclude, Haas have stopped developing a car they haven't announced yet so that they can focus on developing next year's car, and by them I mean Ferrari, and it doesn't matter anyway because even if they were trying, they wouldn't have got anywhere. Good job, Haas. And that's that. Thanks again for watching. Remember to check out my previous video if you haven't already. You can do that at the end card. Remember to like, subscribe with notifications on, and argue with me in the comments. Tell me why I'm wrong. I love to find out all of your differing opinions on this and anything else. I'm often an idiot, so feel free to correct me.